Join me, if you will, in a thought experiment. Just how bad do you think I am at mini-golf? Now consider how little of that skill, that physicality, translates into VR. Now how bad do you think I'd be at VR mini-golf? Yeah, I don't care what number's in your head or whatever stat you're comparing this on, I'm worse than that. Just a warning about the upcoming footage. But first, a discussion about abstraction. VR is really cool in that these previously abstracted motions can be broken down into their constituent parts and you can engage with them on a micro level. A lot of the obvious applications for this are gun-related. In a video game, pressing R begins a complex series of animations that involve either manipulating a magazine eject lever or just ripping the thing clean out, fetching a new one, loading it into the well, and then working some kind of bolt or slide assembly. Nothing about that one key press relates to the actual motions or actions one would take in reloading. In some games, you have a button that just chucks a live grenade. Not even hold down the button or move the pin and ready the spoon, and then release to disengage said spoon and send it flying. FPSs are the channel's bread and butter, and I actually did an entire video about VR FPSs just being first-person reloaders, not even shooters. I would recommend that video. But there are more places in games where we abstracted action with just arbitrary buttons, and nowhere is that more noticeable than in golf. In golf, whether the long-winded kind with fairways and bunkers or the normal kind with the windmills, the entire game is about placement and finesse. You have to be standing just right, angling the club just right. You need to swing it with just enough force and gauge environmental factors. If it was all just in the hips, then I'd be hitting hole-in-ones every single time. But that all is hard to translate into a video game. I mean, you can swap clubs, rotate around the ball, but to actually swing, you typically have some kind of meter to fill up that's supposed to relate to your swing, but just how well it does that varies from game to game. And at any rate, just what half power, full power, any of that means varies from title to title. I don't hit the ball differently at one mini-golf place to another, I hit it bad at both. And I have no idea how these relate to one's own physical strength. This is more than just shake the controller for a forehand swing in tennis and shake it another way for a backhand. Those relate to motions. Here, the power meter is not just abstracted to a degree that I don't actually know what's going on, but it's essentially obfuscated behind a layer of mathematics. It's like the difference between swinging my sword at an enemy and picking attack from a menu, between running up to a guy and blasting him in Dusk and doing the same in XCOM. So when I learned about Walkabout Minigolf, a VR title, I was absolutely thrilled by the prospect. This seems like a medium that would take to the sorts of physicalities inherent in golf perfectly. I know the power of the shot because I'm doing the motion with my arms. I can explore the space in 3 dimensions and evaluate the terrain with stereoscopic imagery. I know how far away the hole is, without just being given a 12 meters. This was gearing up to be the ideal mini-golf VR title. I imagine a podium finish in that category isn't actually that difficult. And how is it? It's pretty good. It controls just how you expect it would, essentially. I'm just no good at the game. Now, does anyone remember the big takeaway from Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy? Hard to play in the modern age. I'm going to assume one of those was the right answer. So you miss a shot and you try again, and you miss again. Now you're getting frustrated at the game, and it's more likely you're just going to keep missing. So you hit the stroke limit 3 times in a row, and then proceed to stick the Cybergrind music under a pirate level or something. Now that's just an insane hypothetical, I would never. But let's actually talk about the levels though. Walkabout's golf courses are a fair bit larger than the usual mini-golf affair. Behold, one of my local mini-golf options. It's not open presently, it's the off-season, so we just have images and maybe some Google Maps stuff. It's got a cave, and it's got a bridge. It looks like a baby's playground compared to Walkabout's first map though. The holes, as a result, get to be rather inventive, yet for the most part they stick to the physicality expected from a real-world miniature golf course. But the maps, they're gorgeous. There's 9 in total, though one of them is a $3 DLC, and more seem to be planned. All of them are uniquely themed, and all of them are some form of beautiful despite the low-poly vertex shading aesthetic. Mind you, the original game was meant to run on Oculus Quest, which is like trying to game on a Chromebook. I was gonna say PS2, turns out the Quest has more RAM than the Wii U. I don't understand how that one happened, but honestly, no, the game just looks good. Especially Quixote Valley. Seeing it done up in these festival lights, seeing the pastoral evening, a gentle storm rolling in on the horizon to bring spring showers. This is legitimately the loveliest experience I've ever had in VR. Just being in this space, not even playing the game. Though keep in mind my other options in VR are East European Apocalypse and a bunker full of sausages, so I'd take just about anything. But they're all just so welcoming. They feel lived in, and exploring them is a real treat. There's plenty of reason to explore them too. The day courses contain 18 hidden golf balls, 1 per hole, and lucky me, I found all of them that I can. Go team. Finding 10 or beating the par score, so for me, finding 10, unlocks the night version of the level, which is the day course but changed to be more difficult. And it's at night, as if the day courses weren't difficult enough. Those have their own puzzles though to unlock new putters, and those at the very least are way more enjoyable. And solving the puzzle for that hint is often just as fun as finding the next piece, if not more fun. There are a couple things I would have done differently for sure though. The controls to me are whack. You hold up and point the controller in a direction to walk forward, which kinda just feels awkward to me. I get the goal is to play the game entirely one-handed, and I commend that, and it feels very natural. But being able to use the offhand stick or touchpad for more in-depth locomotion would be nice. The ability to strafe or walk backwards would be very handy, instead of just trying to jab myself with the controller to walk around, or just keep tapping the control stick to turn around. It's kind of tank control-like in that sense, which isn't the most fun. Additionally, and perhaps a little bit more within the scope and gestalts of the game, some sort of handicaps would be lovely for people as bad at minigolf as I am. A little laser beam showing where the ball would go if I hit it, not unlike that some billiards games do. The hole pulling the ball towards it if it winds up a few centimeters away, even just being able to nudge the ball out a little without it counting as a stroke if it winds up in a corner. I feel like these could be neat options to enable server side just to keep the scores from looking a little, you hit the stroke limit-y. But I could also just play more of the game, I suppose. Get a feel for its mechanics and how much power I need for a shot, and actually just get better at the game. Overall, Walkabout VR is a lovely game. I do recommend it if you have a headset, or even just access to a headset. If you know a friend with VR, have them buy this game and everyone gather around and play it. Oh, and I'd like to get some guests on to play the game with. If you'd like to see that and know some folks I could have on for just a round, within reason, please do let me know. Walkabout is available on the Oculus Store and on Steam for HTC Vive, Valve Index, Oculus devices, and Windows Mixed Reality for $15, with $3 course DLC planned throughout at least the coming year as part of the Lost Cities expansion. And I would say it's definitely worth the money. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.